This video is sponsored by Typhur. Hi, I'm Emily, and this is No Expert, and today we are making a slow-cooked pork shoulder. It is the perfect thing for feeding a crowd, especially if you're on a budget, but even if you're not, it is a great, easy cut of meat, and I'm going to show you a formula that I use to cook pork shoulder with any different flavor combination or under any different flavor profile, so you can pork it up for any occasion. Let's take a look. Before we get into what all is happening here, let's talk about the formula. So basically, I started making a version of cochinita pibil, which is a Mexican dish, like probably 10 years ago, because one of my friends would make it. And when he moved away, I was like, hey, what's your recipe? He gave it to me. It was delicious. It really is one of the greatest pork recipes, and I will put that down below. I feel bad blowing up his spot, but it is actually originally from the DVD extras of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. It's Robert Rodriguez's pork recipe, but it's a great recipe, and I highly recommend it. Anyway, so I made that a bunch, and then I was sort of like, well, I've made this one pork a lot, maybe I'll try something different, and I ended up looking at some mojo pork recipes, some Cuban pork recipes, which are also like a slow-cooked pork shoulder, like this. And what I realized was that they were really using the same basic marinade ingredients or components, just with different flavors or like ingredients from different regions. So different things, but ultimately we're looking at around the same ratios of like acid, salt, oil, herbs, aromatics, things like that. So I said, I bet that you could extrapolate from these excellent recipes. I'm really just standing on the shoulders of giants here. In many ways, I didn't make anything up here and can't take credit for any of this, but what I did was I basically said, okay, so how much salt do I need, how much acid, and then realized that I could pretty much apply that formula to any flavor combination as long as it sort of is from one part of the world or another. You know, if it grows together, it goes together, is the old saying. So I started playing around with that, and today what we're going to do is make a version of this really ultimately cochinita pibil or mojo pork style recipe, but using all Thai flavor. I really like Thai food a lot. The first cooking class I ever took was in Thailand. I'm a big fan. I think as someone who was lactose intolerant for a really long time, I got very into the food of Southeast Asia and Japan because there's a lot less lactose in it. So I've cooked a lot of this food. I'm very lucky to live in Queens, the world's borough. So I have a lot of different grocery stores from all different cultures around the world. I know that the last thing anyone really needs is a white girl making Mexican Thai fusion, but I think this will be really delicious, and I thought it would be kind of a fun way to demonstrate this pork formula. The porkula, if you will. Now seems like a great time to talk about our sponsor, Typhur. I am so thrilled to have Typhur sponsoring this video, and I'm thrilled to be working with the Typhur Sync Dual. They sent me this lovely little premium, high-tech, wireless meat thermometer, which will absolutely help me up my meat cooking game, especially for cooking low and slow like we're doing today. One of the things I love about this Typhur Sync Dual is that it has not one but two different probes. This is going to make a huge difference for me because ovens and cuts of meat are so rarely uniform. For example, earlier this year, I was having a party, I was having some people over, and I made two different pork shoulders that were around the same weight. They were from the same store, from the same day, and they were cooked identically in the same oven, in the same dishes, and yet they turned out completely different. And if I'd had my Typhur Sync Dual for it, I could have known that one of them was ready and the other needed just a little bit more time. And the other great thing about the Typhur Sync Dual is I could have been mingling. It actually syncs to an app on your phone. So not only can I monitor the pork from in here because it's got Wi-Fi and it's got Bluetooth, but I can also walk out into my living room and talk to someone else if I wanted to. It actually sends a push reminder when your meat is 5 minutes from ready. How cool is that? Precise to a half degree. Each of the Typhur Sync Dual's probes has 5 internal sensors that go inside the food you're temping and 1 external sensor for the ambient cooking temperature. I'm really enjoying this little device. I feel like it's my new little toy. To get your own, go to typhur.com or the link down below. I've got it in the description. I've got it in the pinned comment. It is easy to find, and you can use my code Emily10OFF for 10% off this beautiful little digital buddy. So thanks so much to Typhur, and if you want to get your own Sync Dual, you can do so at the link underneath this video. So the first thing we need to do is make a marinade. Here's what we've got. We have for our oil, we have just some regular vegetable oil. Any plain neutral vegetable oil is what we're going to use here. I've done this before with like Italian and French flavorings where I've used like olive oil. You can do a lot of different things. For our acid, we have lime juice, white vinegar, which is over here, and I'm going to use a little bit of pineapple juice just because I have so much pineapple juice in the fridge right now. It wasn't in my original recipe plan, but like it'll work, and I need to get rid of some pineapple juice. So That's that. And then for our salt, we have 2 tablespoons of salt, and then we're gonna use 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. Broadly with meat, you wanna do about 3/4 of a tablespoon of salt per pound of meat, and we're using a 5-pound pork shoulder, so 4 tablespoons of salt, roughly speaking. For our herbs, which I always include herbs in this, original versions, we're looking at like oregano, that kind of thing. Here we have cilantro and some Thai basil, and then I'm throwing in some aromatics. So I've got galangal, which is sort of like a Thai ginger, basically, or a Southeast Asian ginger. Lemongrass, lime leaves. I have a shallot, and I have 8 cloves of garlic. For heat, I have 8 Thai chilies. I've got a mix of spices, so I've got black pepper, white pepper, coriander, and cumin here, which I've toasted and ground. And then I have, because Thai food uses a lot of sweetness, not so standard for like a mojo or a pabil type recipe, but for Thai food, very standard, so I'm gonna put just a little bit of palm sugar in. And I will put down below what my sort of basic formula is, but it's loosely a cup of like strong acid, half a cup of weak acid, a cup of herbs, usually before habaneros, so whatever the equivalent is in whatever other pepper you're using, 2 tablespoons of pepper, and then 4 teaspoons of any other ground or dried spice. Like I said about the salt, 8 cloves of garlic. If you're not going to use garlic, if you were doing like a French version, maybe you want to just use shallots. I don't know. Follow your heart. It's a way to learn stuff. What else? I feel like that's it. We've talked about everything. Let's just get grinding, right? Let's blend this thing. So, into my blender, I'm gonna put I'm gonna put 1 whole shallot. Why not? The blender can handle it. 8 garlic cloves, 8 chili peppers, it's like sort of like 2 thumbs of galangal, a cup of herbs. So again, I have this like Thai basil and cilantro. I feel like Mexican food and Thai food are actually like natural friends because they both use like cilantro, lime juice, vinegar, garlic, peppers, like chili peppers. There's a lot of similarities if you think about it. Okay, and go my ground spices. La la la. Lime juice. This is half a cup of lime juice. My white vinegar, distilled white vinegar, half a cup. Vegetable oil. Do our best to pour this. But we're gonna do about half a cup of pineapple, maybe like a 1/4 of a cup. Third. It's a third. We'll do a 1/3 of a cup. I'm winging it on the pineapple juice. It's just because why not? It makes sense. It works. It works in there. So, use a little bit more of it so I don't have to throw it out. 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. Where's my tablespoon? Did I throw it away? I think I said I will never need this again, and I tossed it in the garbage. Yes, here it is. Salt. And last but certainly not least, I'm just gonna use a teaspoon of palm sugar. I would do a tablespoon if it weren't for the pineapple juice, but because I've got the pineapple juice, I've already got some natural sweetness in there. So, good enough. All right, everything in there, let's blend. So our marinade is all blended up, and we can even give it a taste right now. It'll probably be really spicy and really salty because it's gonna flavor 5 pounds of meat, but I'll give it a little taste to make sure nothing went wrong. And that's super good. Woo! Woo! Yeah, that's good. Tart, salty, spicy. That's gonna be good. All right, so this, literally we're just gonna pour it all over here. Sometimes I do this in a Ziploc bag, so if you don't have a bowl like this, literally a Ziploc bag is great. So I have my lemongrass. These are both really fibrous, this and the lime leaves. So I'm gonna just use it to flavor the liquid, and then it'll all cook together. Rather than breaking it down in here. You totally could put it in here. It is totally edible, but this will be a great way to get that flavor in. And then these lime leaves, I'm just gonna rip them a little bit to get a little extra flavor, that's the word. A little extra flavor out of them. And I'm just gonna like go all around here. And in we go, just make sure everybody's got some goo on it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in the fridge at least 12 hours. I'm gonna do it overnight. You can go up to like 24, 36 hours. And the great thing about doing that is that salting the meat well in advance also helps the salt get into this big hunk of meat and helps break down the connective tissue so the pork will be more tender after baking. There we go. You're looking beautiful, my friend. I'm gonna wash my hands, wrap this up, and put it in the fridge. And here is my swap pork, which is in a Ziploc bag. This has been marinating overnight. Now I'm gonna dump it into this lovely pan, and we're just going to make sure all of the goo comes out of the bag. And I'm going to add a Modelo for good measure to help braise it, bring the liquid level up. Add one of the probes from my Typhur Sync Dual into the thickest part of the pork, and set my desired final temperature. I actually want this to hit 205 degrees Fahrenheit, a higher temperature than is necessary for food safety, but the right temperature for the meat to fall apart and fall off the bone, so we get gorgeous, shreddable pork. Wrap this whole thing tightly in foil, and I'm going to bake it for the first 3 hours covered, then uncover it for the final hour or so of cooking. And away we go to the oven. It's gonna take however long the Typhur Sync Dual tells me it'll take. All right, this looks beautiful. Look at this. All right, so let's take our forks and see if we can shred this puppy. Look at that, that's tender. Hubba hubba. All right, so this is some of my stunning pork meat ready. I'm so excited to taste this. I'm actually gonna do it right now before I even put anything else together. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. It's limey, it's salty. You get a little bit of that fish sauce. There's definitely some heat. I'm excited. Okay, so to eat this, I thought, why not complete the sort of fusion experience? I'm gonna do this as a taco. I thought it would be nice. So let's make a couple tacos, shall we? I've got some tortillas, which I've heated up. And I'm just gonna grab some of my meat. Oops. I have some cilantro, which I'm just gonna choose some leaves. A little bit of cilantro. This would also go great with some pickled chilies. Could totally do a little holy basil or some scallions, but I'm just gonna do cilantro and some shallots on here. I'll break that up a little more. She smells pretty, but she's gotta look pretty. And I think what we have right here is my pork done. I'm so excited to dig into that. All right, there's only one thing left to do. Taste my tacos. Lime. And in I go. Cheers. I mean, it's flavorful as all get out. As you can see, the pork just falls apart. That's super good. This is something you can do for $11 at your house, you know? You put the pork shoulder in the oven and you just wait forever, and eventually it becomes incredible and very photo worthy and so tasty. And like I said, you can do any flavor you want. You can use Italian flavors and make like a porchetta type thing. You can use French flavors. You could do like malt vinegar and beer and make British flavors and have it with mashed potatoes. And you'd have a really good chunk of meat. And it would look pretty and people would ooh and they would ah. And I think maybe you should do it. I'm gonna eat more of this. I'm just gonna have to really eat more of this right now, sorry. It's so tender. It's tangy. A little spicy, but not too hot. Even though we put 8 Thai chilies in there and the marinade was super spicy, what you end up with is this really like low grade heat that just sort of sings. Yeah, the meat is just so tender. Tastes like just a really good piece of pork. That's like salty, you get the fish sauce a little bit, you get a little bit of the lemongrass. This is a really tasty little bite here. You can make your own flavorings and create something delicious, just like this. Pork Town, USA, baby. Population, you and me. Let's ride. All right, that was my recipe for slow-cooked pork. Hopefully now you know a little bit more about slow cooking some pork shoulder. Let me know if you end up using this formula to make a flavoring of your own and what kind of flavors you use. Thank you again to Typhur, our sponsor. If you want to check out their awesome line of high-tech kitchen devices, you can absolutely do so at the link down below. I've got it linked in the description and the pinned comment. And if you want to get your own Typhur Sync Dual, you can now get 10% off with the code Emily10OFF. Again, link is down below. Check them out. They're great. Thank you again, Typhur, for sponsoring us. If you liked this video, don't forget to smash a like on it. And if you want to see more like this, you should absolutely smash that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch up with you later. Bye. Bye-bye.